You know, if I had a nickel for every time a game let you parry a nuke, I'd have 5 cents because this one doesn't. Overwatch 2 is a 5v5 part hero shooter, part character action game, and part Roblox simulator with elements of popular rage game Jump King.
Let's go! Oh my god! Oh my god! I'm stupid! I'm stupid!
The game has a simple gameplay loop of having all 5 members of a team work together to compete against another team for an objective. This could be a capture point, 2 capture points, or escorting a payload. The rest of these are not real and I refuse to accept them as such. You play as one, usually not just one, of 42 heroes, some of whom are villains and some of whom are... We've got something for everyone in this game. Want to be a green cyborg ninja with 2 swords and the speed to be everywhere at the same time? We've got that. Want to take it easy and not have to aim that hard but still contribute to the game? We've got that. Have a rough day and just want to punch people? We've got 2 types of that. Want something familiar because all these fancy heroes make you miss the good old shift to sprint days? We've got that too. Want to be a Mexican hacker that ruins the game by preventing everyone else from playing it? Weird, but yeah, you can do that too, I guess. Oh, want to be a terrorist? And because this video has to be 10 minutes long, I will now describe every single one of these heroes in 5 words or less. Old lady with gun, young lady with gun, Bob, not a support, not a support, not a support. Mace to the face. Press E to instantly win, press Q to instantly win. My parasocial relationship, my identity crisis. Big robot punchy man, big human punchy man.
Monkey.
Raiden from Metal Gear, Japanese man, Australian man, big Australian man, big Australian woman with axe. Fuck you. Twink.
Music Man!
Gun. Literally the devil. Why are you on my team? Why are you on the other team? Why are you on my or the other team? Amish accessibility hire. 1-year-old horse. A10 warthog.
Flanking.
Get out of my head, 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 get out of my head. Cyberpunk 2077. Batman. I don't feel like playing the game today. The British if they kept taxing us. Nice legendary skin. Pop all the bubbles for a prize. Famously known as the lowest rated game on Steam, this once revolutionary game that rocked the competitive shooter scene is now taking a backseat to a game made by the same people that made League of Legends. The original Overwatch released in 2016 and was one of the most well-received games on the planet. It had its own esports league and a player base so large it almost didn't take 2 hours to find a game. Known for its incredibly unique gameplay and insanely well-made cinematics, Blizzard Entertainment's failed attempt at making another MMO led to the creation of one of the greatest hero shooters in the history of video games, which was then neglected for 4 years to develop Overwatch 2. The player base was, understandably, not happy. You see, I chose to talk about Overwatch over games where you can parry nukes, not because I would be a cheap Maxor copy if I did so, but because it contains 2 different stories. One a tragedy filled with terrible decisions and wasted potential, and another a forgotten masterpiece that entranced millions. The first of which, of course, is the story of its development. It all started with this man and his dreams of creating the next big MMORPG, an $80 million project known as Titan. A game set in the near future with cyborgs, assassins, and ninjas with bows, and massive hammer-wielding crusaders that would have rivaled World of Warcraft itself. Of course, in a classic act of foreshadowing, Project Titan never came to fruition. In a desperate attempt at salvaging the resources lost to this endeavor, Kaplan and his team landed on Overwatch, a 6v6 hero shooter taking place in a near-future war zone where you played as members of a worldwide hero organization called Overwatch. With unique and addicting character designs, beautiful maps, and cinematics so incredible that they felt like they were pulled right out of the big screen, the game found fast success and was quickly seen as the next big thing. Of course, that's only the story of the development of Overwatch. When you add the 2 is when things start to go downhill. You see, Kaplan just couldn't let go of his MMO dreams. And in late 2019, Overwatch 2 was announced. It was going to be just like the old Overwatch, but with a PvE mode that would attempt once again to take hold of that vision that Kaplan created Overwatch with. With upgradable skill trees and tons of content, the entire player base held their collective breaths for the entire 4 years of radio silence, while the developers moved away from maintaining Overwatch to work on Overwatch 2. If this second game was as good as they promised, if it was going to be something that came from the very team that gave us our beloved hero shooter, if it was something that would bring the joy of first playing Overwatch back again, all those years would be worth it. If any of those things happened, that is. When Overwatch 2 released, there was something glaringly missing from the game, and players were not shy to point it out. Not only that, but along with removing a whole player from the team, turning the tank class into a broken raid boss that simultaneously felt horrible to play and to play against, the release of a string of incredibly broken heroes created increasingly unenjoyable metas and game design trends. This wasn't the Overwatch 2 we were promised, this wasn't even the Overwatch we once knew. Players were outraged. It seemed to us that Blizzard took those promises, that trust, all that time spent neglecting the game we all loved, and wasted all of it. The greater crime, in my opinion, as someone who didn't suffer through all 4 of those years, was the fact that they stopped making good cinematics shortly after. Overwatch's cinematics told us a third of the story of the game, the rest being through comics and character interactions. From Dragons, a tale of 2 brothers reuniting and clashing over their differing ideals, to Honor and Glory, a heart-wrenching lesson of mentorship and heroism, Overwatch's cinematics were nothing short of masterpieces. Each character was someone special who we felt personally connected to. Tracer's bright, energetic personality covered up her terrible condition of needing a device to literally keep her from slipping in and out of time. Genji's flashy yet efficient movements are a result of an arduous personal journey to accept his cyborg body. Overwatch's overarching story covered the aftermath of something known as the Omnic Crisis, a worldwide robot race war after the awakening of AI to sentience. An event that various characters such as Reinhardt, Ana, Torbjorn, and other original Overwatch characters are clearly still feeling decades after the end of. In its aftermath, Overwatch came to be known as the Protectors of the World, with the mercenary group Talon and later the Omnic terrorist group Null Sector opposing them and looking to cause a second Omnic crisis. Many Overwatch agents became vigilantes or laid low until eventually they were recalled by Winston. This was where the game Overwatch takes place, with Overwatch 2 taking place a couple years after. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't really start playing Overwatch until earlier this year. I had about 100 hours from back when I played the game in middle school and intermittently since then, but I didn't actually start seeking to improve my skills until recently. Admittedly, I set myself up for failure deciding to one-trick one of the most difficult heroes in the game, Genji. It took me hundreds upon hundreds of games just to claw my way out of the lowest rank in the game. Hundreds of victories, hundreds of losses, only to reach a place where I was considered below average. My reasons for forcing myself along this journey weren't really anything special. I'm an MMORPG player at heart, and I hate most first-person shooter games. The only hero whose gameplay appealed to me was Genji for his speed and incredibly high skill ceiling that almost turned the game into a character action game. So I only played him. Genji's gameplay is incredibly challenging, requiring an insane amount of mechanical precision, patience, and timing to even do the bare minimum. With a gameplay loop that took so many risks and gave so little rewards, it's often a wonder why Genji players even play the character to begin with. Well,
You better run away, baby, before I put my spell on you. You better get away, darling, 'cause everything you heard is true. You're falling hard, will end up alone, 'cause Lord knows I'm a rolling stone. So you better run away, baby.
the reason why I'm talking about this hero in particular, besides the fact that I only play him, is that I feel like I've genuinely learned so much about being a person through playing this game and through him. And that sounds fucking stupid, but let me explain myself for a second. When I started playing Overwatch again, I was just like any other player. I grew frustrated easily at the game, I thought that my teammates sucked, that nothing possibly could have been my fault, because everything else just seemed out to get me. I yelled at my teammates, my enemies, and I thought I was better than everyone around me. Every loss felt like someone else's fault. And yeah, I sounded like an absolute asshole. I was an absolute asshole. I probably still am an absolute asshole because this was barely 10 or so months ago. As I kept playing though, I came to realize that I was in way more control than I thought. I was playing Genji, the hero with arguably the highest skill ceiling in the game. I constantly blamed my weaknesses on how weak he was as a character, being historically one of the most neglected and heavily nerfed heroes in the game. I had placed myself in an echo chamber and convinced myself that it wasn't my fault I was losing games. But as I kept playing, as I kept improving, somewhere along the way, something clicked. I had that control. Genji's stats on paper sucked, yes, but he could take control of the game with enough precision and speed. Yelling at my teammates did nothing. Insulting the enemies did nothing. None of that mattered. Other people didn't matter. The design of the game didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was me. And so I put in ridiculous hours. I played and I still play the game day after day, using it and my journey of improvement as an escape from reality, as it's the only game that can really drown out all the noise in my brain. Or so I like to say, because that's just me justifying my addiction. Over the past year, I've played over 1,000 games of Overwatch 2 competitive, and my mental has gotten so unbreakable that I don't think I can get mad anymore. Overwatch 2, much like a team sport like football or basketball, teaches you to not only focus on yourself, but accept that things will happen, that people are human, and that everyone will make mistakes. While it's easy to blame everything bad that happens on the game, or that one really bad player on your team, at the end of the day, we are all just people trying to play the game. It's not worth getting all frustrated and angry over something you can't control, such as other people. All you can do is keep improving until you can no longer be held by the same shackles that tie down those around you. As I played Genji, it was like I was following in his footsteps to grow as a person and find myself, becoming less angry and more focused the more I played, and not only in the context of Overwatch. That's genuinely been my takeaway from playing so much of it. I'm not going to say that it'll do the same for you. There's a reason why I want to teach English in the future, and it's not because I love Shakespeare. Overwatch isn't just another first-person shooter. It's not another Call of Duty, it's not another Rainbow Six Siege, and it's not even the next Team Fortress 2. It's the culmination of over a decade of terrible decisions and constant ups and downs. Overwatch is a true testament to the skill, dedication, and indomitability of the human spirit. Don't ask me how we went from that silly ass intro to this. I had to make this video last 10 minutes, and I think doing this style of editing for that long would actually have killed me. I hope you enjoyed the video nonetheless. My name is SOOH, and I will see you all next time.